And public spaces were designed back then as a safe place of comfort and travel. Car-centered development has caused a lot of problems for people, environment, economic, and social aspect. I'm going to give one example. Yes, I'm going to give one example for this about how terrible the car-centered development for us. We know that in our times right now, the prices of oil goes booming high, right?
Right. Yes, man.
Yeah. The price of oil is booming so high that we cannot afford a lot of things, inflation. And this is all caused by the extensive use of cars on the streets. We use cars to go everywhere. We use cars to go to school, we use cars to go to malls. And this causes a lot of problems because it's wrong. Because there's an environmental impact of using them. Okay, so firstly, we need to look at the environmental impacts of cars and car-centric cities. Undeniably, cars are the biggest factor in causing air pollution because of the burning of fossil fuels, producing dangerous molecules that are floating in the air. Even electric cars are still not environmentally friendly. The way they are made, they produce a lot of CO2. It doesn't fix the car-centric infrastructure. And it's heavier than a normal car. It damages our roads easier. So yeah, the roads that are broken, it is mostly by cars that of bad, road maintenance. Okay. Car-centric infrastructure are also environmentally unsustainable. Roads are need to be widened, and spaces are required for cars to park. Therefore, places are becoming further and further away from each other. The further the places are from one another, the more energy it requires. More water sewers, more electrical wires, more asphalt and concrete. This all costs money at the expense of more energy being wasted. And in trying to maintain buildings that are situated apart from another. So yes, this means that low density places are bad infrastructure because it encourages car as a mode to drive. Even though that we can reduce this by making a high density places where all of us can walk freely, we can bike freely, and we have a good amount of public transportation so that we can reduce traffic. Okay. Next. And how about the economic impact of cars and development? Okay. The economic instead. It's no wonder that cars are expensive. It's super expensive. We shouldn't even forget we should constantly operate cars. Everyday fossil fuels are getting more expensive, just like right now. There's also a price to maintain our cars, a price for parking, and don't forget, cars are also part of vehicle tax. It costs a lot of money. Car development also destroys local businesses. Local businesses attract people from the local area. Most of the people who go to these businesses arrive on foot or bike, rarely using cars. Cars are mostly used to get to point A to point B in an instant, and that is if it's far away from one another. The biggest example of car-centric development destroying local businesses can be seen in North American cities. Take a look at Netherlands with their mixed use of urban planning cities where the streets are lively with pedestrians and bikers. Cars are rare to be seen here, like the picture that is shown. There's a common myth that the more lanes you build, the more traffic you reduce. This is wrong. In reality, the opposite happens, which is the more lanes you build, the more traffic you produce. Instead, public transportation should be more promoted and maintained to decrease the amount of traffic that exists. Take, for example, Japan with its Shinkansen high-speed rail. Bikes can also be used to even decrease traffic. An example for this is the Netherlands, where a prioritization of bikes makes bikes a faster mode of transportation than cars. Not only it is more environmentally and economically more friendly, it also reduces the damage that will be done to the road. If a faster way to get around exists, people will take the option. That's simple. Okay, next. And how about the social impact of cars in city development? A traditional planning of urban spaces considers streets and public spaces as a room for human activities. We can go walk, we can go sightseeing, we can buy stuff from local vendors. It really encourages human being experience. It's a space where everyone can get together, do their activities, and explore their surroundings. For example, like the Central Park or Bazaar Street. These places are lively and also can be sites for tourism. Compared to the roads of Jakarta, for example. commute with cars. No routes for pedestrians and public transports are inefficient because they also get stuck in the traffic. It's also not safe for these people to walk or to take bike. Crossing roads in Indonesia is actually very dangerous. There are rarely any crossing roads with traffic lights. Roads are really wide with almost no speed limit regulations. Blind spots in cars are dangerous for walkers. It's also saddening to see that one of the signs that you are financially stable is the fact if you have a car or not, especially in urban areas. So, in conclusion, I want to end this with a conclusion, of course. Okay. Cars and its infrastructure are an effective way of transportation. It wastes a lot of energy. It causes traffic, which means reducing time for activities. It kills local businesses. It's expensive, and a lot of other terrible things. The government and the people should advocate more greatly in public transportation and the rights of pedestrians and bikers. How the government should decide the city must depend on the livelihood and efficiency to commute. Jabodetabek area suffers a lot from this problem. Yet people seem to not realize how much this impacts the lives around us. If people cannot take action right now, they have to be aware, at least, to the problems around them. That's it from me. Thank you.
Okay, big clap. Okay, question please. Yang lainnya harus punya nilai tambahan dengan bertanya. Okay, you have curiosity in your brain. Biasakan punya keingintahuan. Link your brain to your presentation. Ayo, semuanya bisa bicara. All of you can speak English. If you try. Yo. Yeah?
I'd like to ask, okay, let me form my words. Jadi kan, so you said that, you said all of these advantageous if, we reduce the car-centric systems and etc. But at the same time, I would like to question about, the fact that, we as a society is heavily related to car companies. For example, Indonesia is have a lot of business relations with whole variety of brands of Japanese cars, and it's also like the biggest growing business, right? The biggest growing business that impacted a lot of employments for people. If we abolish this car-centric systems, how are we gonna preserve that employment chances for people, and how is our country just for example, Indonesia will remain its business relations with these sort of industries.
Okay, question. Yes.
Actually, one of the problems in talking about urban planning. Yeah. So basically, I'm not saying that we should abolish cars and its city development completely. I'm just saying that these types of development is very, very inefficient and not environmentally friendly. Knowing that we live in a climate change period, it's very dangerous to have that. And I know for a fact that Indonesia heavily relies on these automotive industries. And how do we? What's the question again?
Because this automatic industries causes a lot of employment, right? People work for this.
Okay. So first of all, I want to talk about the irony of Japan. That first they really have a good planned cities, but at the same time they develop cars for us to use. That's very ironic. Okay, now I want to answer your question. How do we overcome the employment problems if we were to abolish the system? Okay, so other than cars, these automotive industries also produces a lot of other modes of transportation, like for example buses. They also still produce cars. And it's really a lot of people who work in the car industry. They are mostly well trained, except for in the sales. In sales, obviously, you don't need a high degree of that. So these companies employ a lot of workers. Yes. Let me. I got the answer to what I need. Yeah, this is a very lot of workers, take a lot of labor to produce one of these. And I think that, yeah, it is going to be a risk if we were to abolish this system. That's the risk. We cannot avoid that. A lot of employments will be dropping if we were to abolish this. But that's the risk that everyone should take. Because in the long run, these systems will destroy the foundations of cities. It will destroy the foundations of countries. And if we cannot make like one risk of making them unemployed, then okay, doom, I guess. But I think there's no worry about it because even though obviously this will have a drop in employment, but the people who are working in the background, especially like in administration, in distribution, in management, they will likely still be fine because these companies still produce a lot of other products such as cars, even trains, even trucks. These types of vehicles are genuinely more useful than the extensive use of cars. That's my answer.
Okay, another question.